That's James's mushroom melt sandwich on croissant. So very fattening. Emerald City smoothie, and I'm having a rose smoothie. We're going to talk about fractals, hunting the hidden dimension, and that got top of the stack against these other videos. So, Breezy, Shiva Baby, Something in the Dirt, and Blake 7 Series 1. So you can see that the mozzarella cheese has significant amount of protein, but for a 3 centimeter cube, which isn't very much, that's a lot of saturated fat and some trans fat. And the bone broth has barely any saturated fat at all, or fat at all.
On the back to be keto friendly.
Yeah, it is. So it's not the worst thing in the world to be eating, I think. If you know, as long as you're willing to have some animal product in your diet. So this is my outfit for today. It's
Fractal 3 theme.
Yeah. So, oh, there we go. I didn't want to cut James out of it, but because he's going to be doing most of the talking.
Oh,
so, yeah. I just wanted to show this. I got these pants out of the storage unit, and this is what we used to do when I was a teenager. My ex would be very frustrated with thrift shopping because girls back then, they'd get really big pants, and then they'd wear a belt, and then pull the pants so that there's more hip here, right? So that it's all like smooth in the back and smooth in the front, and then so it looked like more hip, and then tuck the shirt in and kind of untuck it like that. And that's what we'd do. And so then, I mean, you can be very, very thin, and it doesn't look like you are. Yeah. You can wear whatever.
So that was that around 1991 or something?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know numbers. We
around that
talk
time,
about fractals. We don't know numbers.
What was popular a lot were those coverall jeans. You know,
that was earlier.
A little bit earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seemed to come in with Nirvana and the grunge rock and stuff like that.
Well, the coveralls were a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
They didn't. So this was, maybe
a little bit after that. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit after. And my ex was very thrilled about fractals, and even so thrilled actually that he did my tattoo, which is all faded and stuff now and whatever. But I was glad that he did at the time. And he did his own tattoos. Somebody else had done some for him when he was a teenager, and then he did his own too. So in just a minute, I see.
Right here.
Yep, there's evidence that I was cooking.
That's good.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know?
It is what it is.
It's good that you've got a lot of hair and that it's long.
I don't know how it ends up in stuff because I keep it tied back.
But it doesn't matter.
But that's me. It's either me or Opie. We're in everything.
Well, Opie's hairs are short.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's long, it's mine. If it's short, it's his. Yeah. But anyway.
I don't know where he springs them from because he's basically bald on his chest.
Yeah. But, yeah, so my ex, he wanted to cover up one of his tattoos here that he didn't like very much. And he was going to do he was doing it. He was in the process of doing it when our relationship was coming to a close. And it was that. So it was Mandelbrot.
The Mandelbrot set?
Yeah, that's what he was doing. And I don't know where he would have stopped. Because,
oh my God.
Right, he was very into tattooing, so it might have just continued everywhere. Because he was very into fractals. But, anyway, so, James will be talking about the fractals. I wanted to mention, in Something in the Dirt, I'd forgotten to mention that, like, this Blake 7, the guy who came up with the Daleks in Doctor Who. He came up with this.
We'll try not to play too much.
Boy, is this drags. This series drags so much.
It's not like Doctor Who. Doctor Who is...
Yeah, it's always...
if you got a good doctor,
going,
it generally works.
Yeah. A lot of action. And it doesn't matter if things don't make sense for the most part, as long because they keep you going along, right? So it's like, oh, we're on to the next thing. So it doesn't really matter what happened before, right? So, but here, boy, this drags.
And the other thing is about the Doctor, he's generally got good ideas. You don't really care. You do notice that it was filmed on a shoestring budget.
Yeah, and well, you notice that with this too. Mm-hmm. And you notice that with this too. Yeah. But
so how did you characterize the Daleks the other day?
Trash can with a plunger.
There we go.
I think that's really...
They kind of work.
Whatever.
They're kind of cute.
James likes them. I do not like the Daleks. But...
I find them campy.
It's not so much the look that bothers me or anything. It's just exterminate all the time. It's just annoying. So, anyway.
You should have seen my sci-fi writing friend, as it turns out. He used to just love sci-fi. But he'd get the little toy robots, and I think he'd do that exterminate.
Yeah.
The other one, you will obey.
Yeah.
You will obey. He had such a good sense of humor.
I guess there must be people who like the Daleks. Anyway, not me. But anyway, so this drags. I got the series 2 out from the library also, and I don't know how I'm going to get through it. I slept through a lot of this, and believe me, when I fall asleep in this, I don't go back. I don't replay it. I'm just like, oh, thank goodness I slept.
Yeah.
Because it's really boring. But in my favorite part of this show, Something in the Dirt, was when the guy made his own radiation suit.
Okay.
And it obviously would not work at all. Like the top part was a laundry basket that he got them run out of. And yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So there were things that I did like about this. And it was just too long for a movie. What they should do is make a series out of this. Somebody should. I mean, there's some good stuff. Like, in this show that the skull that the guy found is giving off radiation. It must be the skull, they decide, right? So,
spoiler alert there.
Yeah, I'm giving away some things, but
there you go.
I've already reviewed this or whatever.
Yeah.
So, play around with that some. I mean, the one of them ends up not being around at the end of the show. And where has he gone? Could the skull be he's found his own skull that has been, maybe it's went up and away and it's come back down to Earth somehow in a ball of fire, meteorite, whatever, who knows, right? Somehow it's in it. So you could play with that too, because the skull is, anyway, whatever. Interesting. So they have some interesting things in here. They deal a lot with math, which I don't think they know much about math, right? But it's interesting that the one guy, that's how you would think about things. If you're really interested in math, your brain is trying to explain something that doesn't make sense, that you don't have the answers for. You're going to go for that. You're going to go for the thing that you're interested in. Like, you know a bit about math and you're like, oh, I'd like to know more about, and that's where you're gonna go, right? So anyway, I don't know if we're going to get to Shiva Baby and Breezy yet today. I'm not sure, but Shiva Baby is kind of funny. It's funnier than I thought it would be. It's about college gal she's just in the process of graduating from college, but she's taking things that she's embarrassed of. She likes her best friend, sort of, there's romantic with her best friend, and anyway, she admires her her best friend, she wants to be like her, but she's putting her way through college, sort of. I don't know. Her dad is paying for it and taking care of things. I don't know why exactly she's doing this, but she's decided to be an escort. And so then, so she has these secrets, and she's a Jewish gal, so you wouldn't think that she would do this, right? This is very, she seems like a very good girl, and she's not eating, and there's pictures of her eating bagels all over her dress, and which is funny, right? Because at one point, I think somebody, I can't remember if it was her mother or somebody in the family or close friend situation, like they said to her, "You look like Gwyneth Paltrow on food stamps." And it's funny because at one point somebody told me that I looked like Gwyneth Paltrow, and I just thought, oh wow, you know, that's so wonderful, because I think she's the most beautiful person, right? And my sister thought that there was there was this very, very skinny model that my
Kate
sister,
Moss?
that's the one that my sister thought was the most beautiful person in the world, but I thought Gwyneth Paltrow. So when somebody said that, of course I don't look like Gwyneth Paltrow, but when somebody told me that, boy, was I ever thrilled. And yeah, so that's funny, but I still think she's the most beautiful person in the world. Anyway, yeah, this ends up being a lot funnier than I thought it would be. I don't want to give things away in this. I've already given away enough that you should be interested in this show. But some of, sometimes things happen where you seem like, well, this is too much to be a coincidence or whatever, you know, whatever. I don't want to give anything away. But sometimes life's just that way. It seems like coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, and it's like, well, should I ignore this and just say, oh, well, that's just a coincidence? Or should I follow this? Is there something out there, or someone, or some, you know, force that is guiding me? Why not pay attention to this? Why just dismiss coincidences, especially if it's just, there's so much happening that it seems like you're being led. Maybe you are.
Small coincidence today. Went to pick up Pauline at the MCC. Almost ran over her in the parking lot. I didn't recognize her at first because the sun was behind her. I didn't almost run over her.
No. So her name is Breezy. This was from Clint Eastwood, legendary director. Well, you know what? He did a good job in this.
He did. But, you know, he should have stuck to that instead of acting.
Yeah.
But I guess that's how he made his money, acting, or trying to act or something like that.
And Breezy in this, come on. I don't think she was. At one point, she said to the guy, the police would have taken me to juvie hall if you hadn't, you know, said you knew me or whatever.
And
then later on,
an age.
Yeah, so and then later on, she's telling him, oh, well, yeah, I graduated from high school and then a year ago or whatever. And so you're thinking, okay, well, maybe she's 19.
19.
But
hopefully.
Juvie hall, why would the police take her to juvie hall at 19? That wouldn't happen. So you know she's a lot younger than she is claiming.
William Holden in 1972.
So,
now he looks 50. His divorced wife or estranged wife is claiming, or he's claiming she's 39, and I think that's the accurate age. So
like his friends and everyone, they look scandalized when they meet, when they run into Breezy with him, and they should be. I think, honestly, I'm sure the actress was probably 19 or something like that, because they showed a lot of her skin. And,
lots and lots.
Yeah. And she would have had, like James thinks too, that her breasts looked natural. So she must have the genes to have like humongous boobs, because She has no hips, no butt in
Wow.
this. She's very 70s chic, thin, or cocaine chic.
Yeah.
Very thin. 1973. This was put out.
Was it 73?
Yeah.
It was 72.
73.
I was
So-
reading the Latin characters
Yeah.
fast.
So it's a little bit disturbing watching this show because you're thinking it's almost like a Lolita sort of thing, right?
Let's call
But-
it disturbingly creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's creepy.
But it's a great movie. So
I thought William Holden did a
I
pretty
think
good job acting.
she did a great job
She
too.
did a
I
pretty
think
good job,
I
yeah.
think it was good. So now we're going to talk about fractals, and by we I mean James. So
Oh, yeah?
go ahead, James, and tell us about fractals.
Well, you just asked me some questions. That'll
What?
help guide you. I don't know what to say to people. you know?
Well, you could talk about how in this show there were a lot of Jewish people who were very creative, very innovative, and without them, especially without the one,
Who knows if fractals
Would even-
been
yeah.
discovered.
exactly. So, but it's funny because in this PBS video, which I guess this was, where's the date? 2009, 2008.
That was
So
okay.
yeah, so they're talking about how some people, some academics, I suppose, still don't accept fractal math, and it's like, okay, so do they have a cell phone and they don't accept it? Like, anyway. Now, I mean, they didn't say Jewish people, wow, yay, thank goodness. But
I was the
it's-
one who was pointing out.
But the names.
I
you can
pointed
see-
out to Pauline a long time ago, well, when she got hold of this thing, I was saying Mandelbrot is almond bread in German. But I said, it's obviously a Jewish name, a Yiddish name, really. And Benoit is a French name, actually. I suspect he came from Alsace-Lorraine, or to use the better designation in German, Alsace-Lothringen, something like that. So, a lot of Jewish intellectuals came from that area. Claude Lévi-Strauss, I think, came from there. And that's just one example. So we're looking at the people that were foundational for this. And I said, well, that's a Jewish name or Yiddish name. That's a Yiddish name. Remember you were asking about Gold, what was it, Goldberg or something like that? Gold something or other.
Whatever.
Almost certainly a
So-
Jewish or Yiddish name. Right?
In this, there's some people some academics talking, and they're just, I don't even know why they're in this video, frankly. Like, it ends up on a weak note. There's some guys, a group of white guys, that are, they've went off on a junket to study trees, and they've taken down a tree. Well, they haven't taken it down, really.
They
A
didn't
local
even
is
do-
using the chainsaw. So they've decided to take down this tree to use, like they're measuring all the diameter of the trunk and the branches that come off and everything, keeping,
In the jungles of Costa Rica.
So,
They had to go there. I don't know where all they came from, but the chances are they came from northeastern United States. There's still plenty of forest around there.
yeah, so they couldn't just, walk out the door from their university and find the local forest and do this experiment. No, they had to go on a junket somewhere beautiful and take down a tree. And why did they need to take down the tree? They didn't. Like they're saying, boy, was that ever worth, taking down this tree?
It's like
Really?
killing,
Because why would you have to do that?
killing a deer to get its vital statistics.
Yeah, exactly. So all they were doing was measuring.
Yeah,
So
Stupid.
they couldn't get a local person to do this measuring.
yeah, like
Or
phone them up
do-
long distance or
Yeah, whatever. And besides, they don't need to do it they could do it while the tree's up.
just have
They
someone
could
climb up there and
measure
measure
one
it.
tree. Just
No,
do the
stupid.
Yeah, climb up. They could have scaffolding beside the tree if
Yeah, if they can't climb.
ridiculous. So, honestly, those
Typical
guys were
academics.
losers.
Yeah.
Total losers.
Wow.
So they're trying to show in PBS, oh, look, there's the, not only the people who've come up with the fractals, but the people who've come up with ideas using the fractals. And it's like, okay, the guys, though, with the treat, they're useless. They're
That's
garbage
what Thomas
academics.
Kuhn calls normal science. It's not normal science. It's normal inductive or deductive reasoning. So they start these parasites. Like William Butler Yeats was talking about some of his epigones and stuff like that. It's not very good English, but he says, was ever dog did praise his fleas? So they're the fleas of Benoit Mandelbrot, a few other people who came along. Some actually before Mandelbrot, a couple of people, and some afterwards. So they start with assumptions. They assume they're true, and then they work within the outlines of the conclusions drawn from the assumptions. So, of course, it basically tends to be something like a question-begging exercise. I think some logicians would say deductive logic tends to be tautological, which basically means you end up proving what you assume. And that might be a little bit unfair, but it might also be true. It might be at least another truth to it. So, inductive logic is what science should be based on. Now, really, Benoit Mandelbrot was a mathematician, and mathematics is a deductive science. Even when you're using what they call inductive logic, it's not induction, scientific induction. It's not like stuff based on experience or better yet, experiment. And but anyway, these guys, Pauline was saying they're very white, and they seem to be very Germanic, Anglo-Germanic or something like that. One guy, I think one of those guys had a Scandinavian name, one of them English name, the other one an English name. The people that developed it, almost every one of them had what seemed to be a Yiddish name. So recently I've been reading a lot about the mafia, and too much about, they tend to be more like conciliaries, well, not exactly conciliaries, but counsel, like mob lawyers and mob accountants. And of course the mafia, they're so dumb they can't, all they know is how to break the law, not how to, their way of fighting a criminal case is, okay, you find out through corruption, you find out who the witnesses are. Isn't that incredible? You actually, you file a motion to find out who the witnesses are, and then you have them killed. But every so occasionally they have use for a lawyer, and so the lawyers, in many cases, tend to defend Jews. But hopefully I've said it enough, but I'm going to repeat it again. Jews, whichever society they've been in, they've blessed for the last 2,000 years, ever since they lost their homeland. Roughly 2,000, it's a little less than that. So ever since they were forced to have separation of church and state, the Romans allowed them up to 135 AD to have this illusion of having a separate little vassal state to the subject to the Roman Empire. So this gives me a chance to emphasize that. Benoit, I wish I'd remembered the other names. Now I've got this big thing put out by a guy, I think his name is Wolfram. Huge big book about complexity. And did you notice they had this one equation that showed, was it for the Mandelbrot set? It like had...
How simple?
Yeah.
I know.
But it's, like when you're You notice that thing that's kind of like a star, and then they take, well, actually the star starts out with triangles, and then they keep on
Yeah.
smaller
Okay,
and
what
smaller
was that?
triangles.
I can't
But
remember.
again, really, just the idea of adding triangles is a pretty simple thing. But you end up with what looks like complexity. And it shouldn't surprise us, really, that nature operates on that principle, right? It just takes very simple steps to come up with complexity. And it's bizarre that people found that um, hard to accept. Like it's that equation, as I recall, wasn't like a differential equation, integral equation. It wasn't calculus or whatever. But you just by piling on iterations or repetitions, whatever you want to call it, you just pile on thing after thing, and you end up with what looks like complexity. But the basic rules for it aren't that complicated. And that's what is in this. I think it's called Wolfram Math or something like that. It's like over 1,000 pages, and it talks about it. And I'm wondering if some mathematics might be some insoluble, let's say, number theory problems couldn't be solved that way. And of course, in that book, Wolfram, is that the name of the guy who puts it up? He's saying that, so the thought isn't original with me. But anyway, I came up with it on my own, but I didn't come up with it before he did. So on and so forth. So it's shocking, the mathematicians resisting it. It reminded me of something I was reading overnight. Book put out in 1960, as I recall, and I was alive then, I'm not old. And it's talking it's talking about the Nile Basin and its cultural history and prehistory. So it's more about the Sudan than about, but it does talk about Egypt, the empires, the three, the kingdoms, the old, middle, and new kingdom. But more how it impacted with what has been called variously Nubia and Kush, or so on and so forth. It's largely the Sudan. And so it starts out, or the fellow writing it starts out, Fairservice, I think is the name, starts out by looking at the geology of Africa. And he's talking about continental drift, 1960. The continental drift was first devised, at least by, in modern times, by a guy called Alfred Wegener in 1916, somewhere around there. Sometime during World War I. We'll say 1960. Sometime between 1914 and 1918. No, 1960s, significantly after 1916, are we? Like it's 44 years. So it's a generation and a half. And this guy is saying in 1960, well, this idea of continental drift has had its vogue and it's kind of drifting away. He's saying it's people are less and less inclined to believe it. Can you believe it? Just amazing. Anyway, and understand that this guy, Fairservice, I think it's Fairservice. If it isn't, and you're still alive, buddy, I apologize. But he's a well-known was a well-known academic within that field. I don't know what's wrong with academics. Like, stop trying to defend the status quo. Don't be jumping on every